So these action steps that God had told me to take are the next thing, and I actually wrote them down. The next thing that I felt led to talk about. The first and foremost thing that he told me was be in the Word daily. Don't let it be a sporadic thing. It's something that has to be consistent. It's like exercise. If you want to accomplish something with exercise, you have to be consistent with something daily. So these are like daily action steps so that you can accomplish something. So reading of the Word, he's like, be in the Word daily. It's not like you have to read or listen. He actually taught me a lot about just listening to the Bible on your phone, and that's fine, Thalia. He got me out of the whole mindset of feeling like I had to be all holy and like sit down with my Bible and my notebook and my highlighter and have everything perfect in a quiet space, and kids had to be, quiet. And because I used to have that. I mean, I didn't have kids for 10 years. I was married for 10 years. We didn't have kids. We had a lot of time just to ourselves, and we had a lot of time with just God, and I had a lot of time for just quiet time and highlighters and underlining things and taking notes. And when you all of a sudden have a bunch of kids thrown into the mix, you're like, whoa, this cannot happen. So how can I do this in a different way but still accomplish the same result? Still get the same result. So anyways, he said, you can listen to the Bible. So I do that a lot. I would say 96% of the time I'm reading the Word, it's actually listening to the Word on my phone, and I get a lot out of it. So he said, listen to your a healing self-talk, and create a new one and listen to it daily. Self-talk is the same thing as like an affirmation or something that you read. I made my own, and I recorded it on my phone, and I listened to it on a daily basis. And it was just all amazing good stuff. A lot of it was scriptures and scriptural based words that were coming out of my mouth. I repeated each main point 3 times because they say 3 times is what convinces the brain that it's truth, and it helps it to stick in the brain. And I would listen to that daily. Listen to part or all, if possible, of a healing sermon every day. There were days when I could listen to a whole 45-minute hour sermon. There were other days when it would just be 10, 15 minutes. It depended on the busyness of the day, but at least I was getting some of it in me, and it fed my spirit. Let's see here. Praise daily. Put on praise music and just be in a praising type mentality at some point in the day. Doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. It can be when you're driving. It can be when you're in the shower. I do mine in the shower a lot, and I even do it in the shower at the YMCA a lot, because I know, if you know me, you know I'm at the Y a lot. And I don't care who is in the other stalls. I don't care who's out in the other part of the bathroom. I have my phone in that shower with praise music on, and I'm praising my God, my Jesus. And I've never had one person say anything to me except for a sweet lady who appreciated it. That was great. If somebody does say anything other than appreciation to me, I will have some kind words for them, but I will keep doing it. Anyways, and then praying in the Spirit daily. Praying in the Spirit is what connects your spirit with the Holy Spirit, it makes you closer. And the Bible says he who prays in the Spirit edifies himself. You're lifting yourself up in a point of connection with Christ. So that's awesome. So those are the action steps. I started doing those action steps and became that rich soil. And I knew that I was healed. Now here is the cool part. Was anything changed in my physical appearance right away? No. Was anything changed the next day? No. The next week? Little bit. The week after that? Little bit. Everything was like little bit. And that's just how it was. And I actually thanked God at the end of all of this that I walked through a 2-month healing process of my acne, because I can tell people, if your healing takes a little bit more time, it doesn't mean that healing's not taking place. It doesn't mean that you're not healed. It just means your body is healing itself. And I heard some pastor or teacher say one time that the longer something's been in your body, the longer it's going to take your body to be healed of it. And a miracle is what happens instantly. A healing is what takes place over time. And that's obviously what I needed, was a healing. And that's okay. People that, what Andrew Womack has said is when you need a healing, it's when you're like so far down. When you need a miracle. Miracle is like when you're in like serious duress, like you need that miracle. And a healing is for people who just need healing, and that's fine. Both are great, both are good. But yeah, so that is kind of what my healing looked like. It took 2 months before my skin was 100% whole, perfect, like what you see today. If you guys can see that, God has totally like resurfaced my skin. I'll have to show some pictures. I've never had laser resurfacing. And some of you guys are probably looking at like, I don't know, you got some brown spots there. I do. I'm 39 years old. I got some age spots, but I've never had like laser resurfacing or anything. And I had horrible cystic acne. I'll show some pictures like in the next video or something. But yeah, it's amazing. This is God. This is what God can do. Yeah, he can totally heal you, and even of scars that were there. So, once I received my healing, this is again October 2016. After that, I told God, I get it. I think I could lay hands on people and do this, because I totally get how to tell people how to receive from you, how to receive their healing now. And I just have to tell him like I'm ready. And he a couple months later called us to go to a different church, and we started going to this church. And then it was like a month later, after going and being in the church, he spoke to me as we walked in the doors one Sunday. He just said, "Here is where I'm going to take you to the next level with praying over people." And I'm like, okay, like I have no idea what that means, but okay, And then let's see, I'm trying to think of what happened next. Oh yeah, and then a guest speaker came into our church. His name was Steve Hage, and he spoke. And that Sunday morning that we were there listening to him, they mentioned that he was going to be there Sunday night. And when they mentioned that, in my stomach area where your spirit is, I felt like it was the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit did this for me, but it was like like this feeling. And I looked at Brad and I was like, "We have to be there tonight." And he's like, "Okay." I'm like, I have no idea why, but we have to be there tonight. And we went that night. Steve Hage spoke. And so it was very heavy on my mind, all this like God telling me it's time for you to start praying over people. And me telling him I'm ready. And, walking into church that one day and him saying, "Here's where I'm going to take you to the next level." And I'm like, "Okay, God, like I'll do it. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just call the church and tell them? Like, if you want me to just call the church and be like the crazy person that's like, 'Hey, God told me I'm supposed to be praying over people. Can you, and here at your church, like, what do you want me to do?" And we'd only been going for this church for like a couple, 2-3 months at this point. And I'm like thinking, all right, I know you don't know me very well, but I'm gonna start praying for people. Okay. I'm like, "Lord," but I just told him that night, I was like, "I just need a confirmation from you. I'll do it, but I just need a confirmation from you. So if you would just give that to me tonight, that'd be great." And usually when God confirms things for me, it's like he'll just speak to me and I just hear his voice. And he didn't. Like the whole sermon goes by and he prays at the end, and I'm like thinking, okay, I'm off scot-free. I go to get my purse off the pew in the back and turn around to get it, and this lady taps me on the shoulder and she goes, "Ma'am," and she was like so soft-spoken too, so precious. She goes, "Ma'am, when he was praying, God gave me a word for you." And I'm like, I've never had a word from God, from anyone before, so I'm like thinking, okay, and she leans in and she says, "He told me to tell you, never doubt the power of God working through your hands." And I was just like, the world, like everything had just stopped around me, and there was like tunnel vision. And I'm like, wow, drop the mic. Okay, God, like I hear you loud and clear. I will do it, Next day, I went to go teach my spin class, and there is this girl that the Lord had kind of been I knew he was orchestrating this friendship here, and we had been getting to know each other, and I knew she was a really strong Christian, and I knew that I could tell her that this had happened to me, and she wouldn't think I was crazy, right? So I'm like, I'm going to tell her, I'm going to tell Becca, And actually, I'm going to pause the video because this is getting such a long story. I hope that you guys are sticking with me and enjoying this. I apologize that it's not, edited and all cut up cool like a lot of those YouTubers do, and they do such an amazing job at it. I feel like there's so much detail here. I don't even know what I would cut out, really, but I'm sure there is some junk to cut out. I don't know. But thank you for sticking with me and enjoying this testimony. I'll be back.